still a little glitchy, but I can hear it. Yeah. All right.
Welcome to my nightmare. What is that? Get out of here. No one asked for that. There we go.
Hello there.
Hello, internet, and all who inhabit it. And for those of you, welcome to my nightmare. For those of you who create internet, I hate you today, but that's what happens. I'm just happy to see all of my humans. If we're coming in not stuttery, we might just be suffering.
We've got some observations of stutters. Yes,
just lots of stutters.
Because Eric's not here. Need his muscles to carry the internet.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna try another thing. I'm just gonna have to keep freezing tracks. This is professional tools problem, because I was gonna open the session and this was the mistake I made. Freeze, but yeah, welcome. Skip frames. Okay. Well, while we're stuttering, if we have any new folks here, if this is exactly how it goes always, this is technology at its finest.
The hardest part about music.
Yeah, the less time I could spend on a computer, the better. If I could just throw it in a garbage can. That'd be amazing. But yes, you've made it to whatever this is. We would be looking at stuff, but we're all in my fever dream right now. So while we're in my fever dream, let's see. I don't know. Maybe Richard, if you can check the Twitch stream on your end and see if we sound hilarious.
Yeah, I've got it pulled out. Okay, well, I'm gonna mute my Discord.
Yeah. So while Richard's doing that, this is the big song. If I apologize if I sound like a Transformers robot. But I was excited to show you guys the song I mixed for our album Luminaria called Coma, and it's a fun song. Got lots of cool stuff going on, and it sounds amazing. And I am printing tracks because the plugins are causing too much strain on my computer and not playing
it sounds fine
back.
We are just chatting over the stream starting soon logo. Is that the plan?
You're joking though, right? Like that's not possible.
I'm not. Yeah, there's no video. Thank you, Soap.
Okay.
Oh, we're back. You did it. You fixed it. Pure force of will.
Yeah, I've done nothing.
Okay. Now we're there, but we're just frozen.
Oh, great. Well, if you guys can hear us, we love you. I'm sending a strongly worded letter to Avid to respectfully get their shit together. I also don't know why the amount of times I've tested subscriptions, which keep coming up and being awesome, they're always cut off on this talking screen. I don't know why. I've checked it like 8 times, and then when the stream starts, there's no text.
Soap just gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Oh my gosh.
She's the reason we're banned.
We haven't done anything today, and we're getting all these stuff. Thank you.
This is
you gifted one to my wife, Allison. Someone just gifted you a sub to our Twitch channel. She says thank you. And then Code Echo also gifting 5 tier 1s. Appreciate you. Goodness.
Because you know what, guys? I don't want a lot for Christmas. Just your Prime subs for this month.
Yikes. Oh yeah, it's November 2nd. Can't fool me. Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday.
Yeah. So if you subbed last month, it has expired. You gotta do it again manually.
There we go. That's good, Maddie, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, thank you, Maddie.
Oh my
and
gosh.
We've got some. What are these called? These. What are those? Cerulean pyramids. What are those? Those are bits.
Those are bits. Yeah, bits and bobs.
Those are bits. All right. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I have a cat. This is Oolong.
Hi, Oolong. Please save the stream.
If you subscribe, then we can buy Oolong cat food. Winter is coming, and it is cold.
If you subscribe, we can send Oolong to college.
Is good now. That's right. We can subscribe, and we'll buy her another eye.
Oh gosh. She's the best. Well, okay, real quick aside while we have cats here. For anyone who was a fan of our Outliers music video, my fun bit of Aviation's history is that we were desperately trying, or at least I was, to get Richard's cat Sebastian front and center on camera. And whilst filming, Sebastian was a bit of a scaredy cat that day, but he gets a bit camera shy. I don't blame him. He's a good looking guy. He wants us to get his best side, but who should walk into almost every scene we're trying to shoot totally unbothered and just ready to go is Oolong at almost every turn. So
Oolong is too old to be afraid of anything and just wants people to pet her. So come on down. Next time.
That's incredible. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Somewhere floating around, there is. We got a couple shots of Sebastian, like that one of him walking out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yo, we'll release the director's cut.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right.
The Outliers. Oops, all cats version. All right, you want to talk about some music?
Oops, all cats version.
Is that what we're doing today? What are we doing?
Yeah. So while I'm waiting for one more pass of tracks to render in the next 2 to 3 minutes. What I've been doing at the top of each of these is because I sort of hold all the keys and cards and stuff for these sessions and where they've been and where they are now. I've been asking Eric what his earliest memory was of each song, like when he first thought it or first heard it come into being, whether it was a demo or guitar profile or something. So I'm curious what your first what you remember being your first introduction to the song Coma, working title song 1.
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I know it was in the pile of the guitar profiles that we had all sort of been sifting through before we got together at my place in Tennessee. But I don't remember spending a lot of time with it ahead of time. So, yeah, I guess probably working through it in Tennessee. And I know we've talked about this before, but it would be fun to do an encore stream of pulling out all of the weird demos and leftovers from beforehand. Because remember, this was the one where the beginning was 3 minutes longer, right?
Yeah. So I think I've explained it in, or at least a part of our album streams, but the entire section, and I'll point it out when we have the session up in just a sec, leading up to where we kick into the adventure metal 12/8 for like the most of the rest of the song. All that beforehand didn't exist at first in the first iteration of the song. All the themes that show up later in the song were there by way of through composing from that point to the end of a song. And then like the short version was, I told James, hey, this first 3 minutes like doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. What do you think? And he was like the gist of it was like, oh, okay. And then he took the themes from the end and like arranged, because I don't remember like really like forcing much to change in the beginning there, other than like some of your piano harmony spicing stuff up, like that like motion from like key changing stuff in the very beginning of the song when the vocals enter and stuff, like that was built into James's idea, which he tends to do a lot more so from a like Guitar Pro hit transpose and see what sounds weird type of approach versus like oh, we're gonna pivot on these keys. Maybe we'll learn how to use pivot chords or whatever like Joey does for all the Arch Echo stuff, but that's usually where that sound comes from if it's a James song. I hate how the subscribe button goes right over your face because I can't place it correctly on the screen. But yeah, that was the gist of where the song. Okay, loading is almost done here. Exciting. Got a lot of folks here. So yeah, as we're about to hop into the session here, why don't I just remind everybody that our Discord is the fun place to be if you're cool and want to be cool with us. Merch, we have announcements about that coming tomorrow. I just have to get a couple more things together. Yes, exactly. Thanks for the follow. And then we will have a announcement tomorrow as well about the sweepstake, which, okay, that just sent a link to something that we'll say has ended, but yes, keep your eyes peeled for the winners of our merch sweepstakes for all of the stuff you see there. Cool.
And before you get started, Stephanie, thank you. She had gifted, they gifted 10 tier 1 subs.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I missed that.
Yeah,
this is incredible.
Again, beginning of November. What a time to be alive.
Oh my gosh.
In honor of the occasion, at request of our Discord, I am one-upping Eric and sipping on a gallon of whole milk here. So
there we go. That's he's got to keep the spirit alive there.
Yeah.
All right. So we will go on this adventure together, everyone.
Before we just, Sam, is there a place where I can see your face?
Yeah, on Discord if I have my
more conversational if I can see you.
Camera on
no,
here.
Okay, there you go. You're back. Thank you.
Wanna
yeah.
Put me there, then you can see what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Oh, actually, here I haven't added one last bit of the puzzle because Pro Tools will forever be on my naughty list this year. This is embarrassment. There we go. Give that a quick test. There we are. And cool. I was going to put this on the screen, but we had a question about piano sheet music. If that was something of
Sorry, guys.
of interest.
I'm Eric. I don't know. I'm just Eric. Yes. So it's almost done, and then I need to meet with Sam to do a couple of layout things to make sure that it looks similarly pretty to the guitar tabs.
I'm sure it'll be lovely.
Yeah. But yeah, feel free to if there's like something you're just dying to look at, I'd be happy to give you a little sneak.
If you ever need to know how the transcription goes, just here's Richard's phone number. You can FaceTime him.
Yeah.
He'll pipe you in with the overhead view. All right. Let's all right, Richard, you should be able to see my screen still. And then
I see it.
I'm going to pop
sea of
over
red.
just a sea of red and chaos. Let's pop over. Boom. There we go. So that should look like something for folks in the chat. Professional tools. To get us started here, let's see if we're getting some sound after I play this. Thumbs up in the chat if we're getting some decent audio. Doesn't look like we're crashing yet. Let's see. All right, let's give that a pause. Yep, no, my voice and I see audio. Cool. Is that sounding good for folks? Spam us with bits or F's in the chat or whatnot if our internet's still working. Cool. Let's see. Is maybe if I play this piano, is anyone getting, where is it? Some piano. Yay or nay? Maybe a Adam Benjamin can help me out.
I think our stream delay is set pretty high today.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
How long roughly do you think it's taking to?
Might be 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. We're worried about. Wasn't sure if you were worried about stream snipers or not.
Well, it's not anything I've changed since last week.
Okay. It's fine. You know, that's life.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting a clap and all good and what a bop. So I'm going to take that as something's happening. So let's jump into this. Richard, because I got you here and you start the song.
Yes.
For me, I think the funniest bit about making music the way we do, here comes the stuff. There we go. It's going to be like a minute delay on what I say all day now. Great. Awesome. But when we're making music remotely, and we're doing demos and what is it, like fake instruments and stuff like that. This song was the one that taught me if you play a piano sample library at the lowest possible velocity, playing a very, very fast passage like this, that's not only fast, but like consistently, like for a very long period of time, that is not in any way, shape, or form realistic.
Yeah. That definitely is a middiitis thing of like, you know, when the whole point of playing piano.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a lie, but I don't know. It just like you want to bring out certain things, you know. So if you just have every single note is the exact same, that A is like physically counterintuitive, and B like, I don't know. What's the point? You know, like we want to bring out the da 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 da. So it's like that sort of top line melody, and then everything else is this sort of undulation underneath, you know. And so in kind of, I remember, I did that a couple times, and I think you and James are both like, oh, it's not even. It's like, yeah,
it's real. No, what's fun is you use the term what a middiitis, like demoitis, that kind of stuff. I found a demo of this as I was going through files the other day, and I heard that version, and it has a sound to it that, like, of course I got accustomed to when I was like dialing in the like a pass of the song with like real guitars and trying to assemble it and all that. But yeah, having listened to that, like it was pretty off-putting now that I have like the real piano version. Maybe it's also because like the song like in its final form is like imprinted on my ears in a certain way, but like yeah, I much prefer where it ended up. So like that's like one example of many through this album process that have showed me just like give something time to become something, and it'll be fine. It'll be awesome, actually. I just produced everything you did on this song. Yeah, it came out fine.
It came out.
It's the best you're gonna get.
Aviation's Luminaria. It's fine.
Shirts coming this summer, or next summer. It's fine. But yeah, here I might as well just to start the song off, play a little bit of the piano going into this. You guys got the vibe of how Richard's soft piano sounds, and then we'll give you a sense of what the full piano sounds like. This takes us into the drop here. And that downbeat, for example, was reinforced with the low piano. We'll take it up right to the next section. Oh my gosh. I think it's impressive, or like no small feat, that like when we're writing something like this and it's like, oh yeah, piano texture this whole time, that's gonna be great. I zoomed in a little bit just so you guys can see here, when we're arranging stuff like this, we want to build some energy into the arrangement because we are recording separately most of the time. We're not like a live in the room band, and these tempos are kind of ticking up a couple of BPM each kind of section change. And what you notice from, let's see, 0 to 2 minutes and 10 seconds, verse 1A, Richard is not stopping.
Yeah.
So
it's like all that same texture, the da-da-da-da-da, you know, just this song is tiring.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's fast, but like if you're listening to it, it's not like like some of these, like, you know, it's not legend piano solo fast. So it's almost, it seems to me like almost more difficult to like stay in that in between state of like consistent.
To stay steady. Yeah, because like if it was faster, then I could be a little sloppier and it wouldn't be noticed. But like for this, is like I have to go for 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. I'll be curious if like we're doing it live, if there's a does this feel like something you would warm up to and can do easily, or is this sort of like a maybe focus more on those? I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm not trying to like break my pianist's hands every show. Yeah,
I'll do it right now. It's fine. No, this is the second hardest ostinato. The Blink one is just like remembering that right hand pattern. Maybe I can swing that next week too, but just like remembering that pattern and then fitting on the left hand melody stuff, that's so much harder. You just have to like have it ingrained in your head for forever. So
yeah, and I think it's a little faster, a little more brisk in that stuff that's going on. But cool. I'll bounce around the intro here just to keep things moving. Yeah,
before we leave that real quick, that like one reverb section that you did when I'm playing the chords, when it hits the D sharp minor.
Yeah.
What did you add on that? Because that's nice and that's like pretty unique.
Let's see. I have everything printed, but
okay.
you'll see we drop it out at the very end here. So these are subtle things that won't be like super obvious in a giant mix, but like you'll see I have hammer microphones over. Let me back out of here just a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah, there we go. I have a pair or I don't know any of these mics. These are from the studio. A pair of mics right over the hammers, a pair of larger like ribbon mics over kind of the edge of the piano, I guess, the like top of it, and then a couple of like very close mics, one on like kind of inside and then one over one of the holes, I think was RE20, one of those giant holes in the piano frame, and then some room mics at the bottom, which again we recorded in a very large church size type space, and it was, you know, big reverb, reverb big. So you'll see over the course of this section I added a fake reverb at first, which was Valhalla Vintage Verb. It's frozen, so I don't have it up right now, but I do just have that on the bus, just blend it in for a couple of sections, just automating the mix control instead of a separate aux track or whatnot or anything fancy, just kind of there for the color. And you'll see like right before the section drops, when it's really exposed piano, I focused more on just like the core piano pairs and cranked the rooms as well, like the natural room sound, so that it has just a slightly different vibe. And then we pull the rooms out for the next section and go back to our just full piano and then a couple of extra mics. So I've used that kind of technique in a couple sections of the song. So I didn't go too crazy for the rest of it, but all you're looking at here in this session, guys, is going to be all the volume automation from track to track, because you get some great parts, you get some great players, but at the end of the day, it is a mix. So you got to make things really stick out. For example, if I zoom in on this piano solo in the breakdown, you'll see like a ton of automation lanes just going all over the place. But yeah, Vintage Verb, it's cool. I think I'm using the chorus space preset for most of it, which is just it's a vibe for me. All this said, something that lasted from the Guitar Pro demo into this, just because we're talking about like the core theme of the song, this comes at the end as well, is the harpsichord patch that you recorded. Did hear actually hear that's hear the transition. There, I feel like it was a little easier to hear the delay that's going on.
Yeah,
I'm running the Sound Toys Echo Boy, doing kind of a bounce thing to keep a little ping pong to keep the undulating kind of back and forthness tight, and a bit of stereo spread too with Sound Toys micro shifts. I've already used like 3 Sound Toys plugins and this piano processing stuff. Most people would probably think that's a synth, but that is the harpsichord that's actually on camera with Richard right now.
This one,
that one,
yeah,
it's pretty good. He's got a pretty nice harpsichord right here. And it was just a cool
harpsichord needs.
So good. I'd actually have to like double check if in the Guitar Pro demo that James had put out for this song, if that was actually a harpsichord patch that he used, or if it was some sort of synth. I feel like it was a harpsichord because he had you in mind. But yeah, this was like from day one putting the session or section together. I knew we wanted the actual harpsichord to do that. And I'm pretty stoked with how that came out, and it shows up in a couple other sections of the song towards the end in a synthy kind of way. Last other pieces of the puzzle other than the core band are these characters, these bells that will show up throughout the song as well.
I'm not core band. Nice.
In addition to other core band. There's our spooky stuff, and let's see what we got on this transition.
Ooh, a little harder mallet there. Nice.
Yeah, so we got, like, yeah, is it Celeste or Celeste? What's the final verdict?
Are you talking about the pizza or the instrument?
That's true. The instrument.
Celeste.
Celeste. All right, sick. So, yeah, we bring in the xylophone to double the pizza on a handful of spots. It's just a cool texture that bumps it a bit more. Oh, heck yes. I love how my alerts do not stay on the screen, right? Is this... No, that's the wrong thing. All right, Sam, stop trying to save yourself. You can't do it.
Thank you. Stephanie dropped one more sub, and then they've given 50. They were at 49.
Now
they're at 50. That's insane.
Stephanie is clearly winning. You guys got to get those numbers up.
Jeez.
You know, y'all, the rest of y'all got rookie numbers. This is insanity.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, classic Aviations textures. Add those bells. Call it a day.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see how many others we got. We also got harps, vibraphones. Very nice. All just added textures, which in the song, like, they're not super exposed, to be honest. I use them more to just augment the piano. At the very end, you'll see there's like a lot of layers, and so I was noticing earlier that aren't super audible, but because it just feels more like Richard and piano is taking the lead. Got a bit more ambience going on here. Oh, I ruined it. This is the very, very start of the song. We got some spook going on.
This is very Blade Runner. 80s sci-fi film.
Yeah, I have a feeling this was just post-human, and maybe that Woodchester piano. Oh, some sus-chordy kind of thing action. Nice, we got a synth layer. Doubling that main melody.
Uh-huh.
While the Blade Runner stuff continues under there.
Yeah.
And as I continue digging my way out of this, what I wanted to highlight the most was the demo version or arrangement to show Richard and friends. You can tell me which friends played on which song, because I think you had some help on this track, if I'm not mistaken, for string arrangement stuff.
Yeah.
Now that I'm zooming out, there we go.
I'll point it out when we get there. It's just the bridge.
Nice, yeah, the really like
playing an A flat major was super awkward, and I was way too rusty to get that up to tempo. So.
No worries at all. This one, thank you, Waves of 11, for the follow. This section was something I wanted to have the kind of feel of the John Williams orchestra, like going in right at the beginning, and then with the addition of your like top line layers of what do we have here? Violin, viola, and cello stuff. Oh, excuse me. That's all violin. There's viola, and there's cello.
Cello.
So I bypassed all these so we don't have to like watch my computer explode collectively. But you'll see Richard has multiple mics set up for multiple takes of multiple layers of multiple levels of insanity for these songs. And I reduced them down to one track here finally, so I could actually understand what's going on. So the setup here is a bit of fake orchestra going in hard on like the ostinato, right? That doubling the piano part, and then leading into that main melody that was arranged by you, and I'll separate those in just a sec. So let's see that here. This is our Spitfire Orchestra. And then let's get Richard in there. Followed by
I didn't do that. That's cute.
Yeah, I wanted to show you what happened, because when we did these songs, or rather when you did these sessions on your own because of scheduling and just the chaos of making a record and learning how to do it remotely, obviously you can see I picked and choose some of the stuff that you played into some melodies that were inspired based on what you were doing and what I thought fit the arrangement and stuff that was going on in the moment. So I went with the plucked Pixar vibe and trying to do some sort of augmented kind of left and right, bouncing back and forth stuff. Kind of wanted it to sound like there was a couple players. It reminds me of like being on a at Berkeley or whatever, a concert hall, watching a handful of like a quartet or something stop and do their kind of call and response things back and forth before going back in with like the lead instrument. And in this case, is like kind of bass actually. So it was kind of something actually blending in with the bass performance musically, like melodically. So yeah, I sort of treated you guys like a quartet. It's almost like two strings, piano and bass being like a 4-piece kind of thing there. And it was a cool vibe. So yeah, for a handful of the string performance parts here, I'll go through and take some stuff that Richard has done and rearrange sections and sort of upvote maybe a violin part louder than the harmony that was used, or if God forbid there was a couple harmonies that didn't work at that section when it was trying to layer it in, and I might mute some, but I appreciate all of the pieces, the building blocks I was able to have to put that together. The most interesting thing for me as a guitar player in the beginning of this entire song is there's basically no guitar until there is like a minute into this scenario. So like all of the ambient stuff you hear at the beginning, that's used a couple spots in the song, and it's guitar. So I'll basically do that on stage and then just like hang out until we come back in with some of the coolest guitar tones on the album, to be honest. This is where like a lot of that clean and distorted layering inspiration came in. I think I used this sound on a couple different songs as well. It was like the contortionist space sound. Yeah, just very much a vibe. That's like some of my favorite guitar tonage, and the fact that it's like so featured at the beginning of this epic song is dope. But we'll get into vocals in just a second. Let's introduce the rest of our cast. Let's see. Werner, I think you're already getting some stuff. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, I thought we had some synth action at the beginning here, but this is just kind of a full range bass stuff. Kind of some chordal work there almost. And then drums, which, interesting enough, let's play this whole intro section here. It's like how it tightens up, and to make all that work, there's just like so much automation work going on to keep the snare and speaking in the right way without being like too reverbed out the whole time. And like to get something like these snare rolls to not be totally choked up by drum gates so they sound huge. Followed by, actually, I don't know if you picked up on that, there's that little like stick sound or whatever. That's super weird. I don't think I ever noticed that. That wasn't like intentional. But that's so awesome. Like every time this song comes on, or I see or we post a clip of it, or I'm listening on Spotify, that flam. It's like my favorite sounding snare thing I've ever done. Maybe second to only the end of this song, where there's some other cool stuff going on. But yeah, these drums I'm like the most proud of any drum mix I've done to date. And the parts are just nuts too. It was actually the first, because the working title was Song 1, the first song that we recorded for drum tracking on that day. I think we might have posted a video when James was like, let's do Song 1 first, why not? And of course, other than that, we have vocals and our various percussion swells and hits and all that good stuff. But let's get that cool vocal layering stuff from the intro a feature as well. Oh, come on. Sweet. So I experimented with some reverse vocals and filtered effects and all the atom layering. And this is one of the first sessions, I think, where you guys can actually see like the extent of just insanity it comes to when we're layering stuff. Each one of these harmony layers is a left and right performance. So we have 11 harmony tracks here. That's 22 atoms. And how many backgrounds? 14. That's 28 more atoms on top of some doubles, centered double, and a couple of lead tracks. So just a lot of it's too much tuna. That's too much atom.
Nice.
It's a little much.
Just a dollop.
Just a dollop. It's turning, isn't it? That's some isotope vinyl.
Blessed hands, my intent was good. A common thread lies misunderstood.
Some cool harmony there.
Trance that I've come to love in moments missed.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error and getting all the emotion and stuff on certain lines. And I was even doing my own like Reina Kindo background vocal type deal. See, any amount of auto-tune will help you.
Yeah. I don't know if this is because of the verb that you've got on it, or just the effect of what happens when you have in-tune vocals, but you're hearing like those upper harmonies, like in that section you get the fifth formant or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the harmonics are like gelling and bringing that stuff more to the forefront, I guess. This one looks like just a quick, because we're in vocal world now. The way I sort of set up these sessions to not be overwhelming, even though it's like a chaotic mess of tracks to look at. Here, I'll make it a little smaller just so we can get our bearings. This green vomity looking nonsense over here is kind of like my vocal if you imagine like I was in a studio with like a rack of gears, like my vocal rack of stuff. These are all my sends that I'm able to send to, because Pro Tools limits me to 10. So each one of these vocal sums has all of these things sending to a bunch of delays and a bunch of reverbs. And like this vocal, for example, if we just play that and then look at this track, it's going to this room, this lush verb, and some others. I even got like a spooky shimmer track that's got a bunch of weird effects on it. And I'll send these guys in like differing amounts at different times. It's a cool, these walls surround. That was probably me trying to, based on how I'm like close to it now.
These walls surround.
They surround us, dude. We're surrounded, man. But yeah, we just going nuts with the layering. And making all of that work in context is tough, but I think it comes through in the final result here. Volume warning for y'all at home in 2 minutes, whenever you can hear. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, just like getting the melody that to match the vocal too, I think was something that came in a little later. Or rather, the na 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 was a melody. I always wanted to say malady for some reason because my English is terrible. Was a melody written before the vocal. Exactly. It's so good, it's sick. And then that leads us into the next section, the big boy drop, which went through a lot of iterations. I'm sure Adam can tell you, and possibly even remembers better than I do, but I remember like several versions of trying to like arrange where this melody goes, and then Adam took a pretty solid stab at some lyrics for the melody that matched like the phonetics or phonemes or whatever the word is. Sorry, I'm laughing but the way I have your camera cut off, you just see Clover right now.
That was perfect.
It's perfect. It looks like a dog was just replaced. It's so good. So good, baby. And yeah, where we ended up is pretty cool. It would be awesome if I had like an organized, how artists will have how they built the design process, like time lapse or whatever. If we had like all the different versions, I basically deleted stuff as we went because it just took too long to save everything. But yeah, let's hear this section and what layers. It's a lot of upfront Adam, but it sounds dope by itself too.
Hope this learns the rules I've made over years to find what's behind. hide away, then break down. You're running out of doors to try. Not bold enough to take what's mine, while idle hands drift further through time as it flows out of reach, fighting to stop.
That was pretty cool thing with all these effects, and then you take the effects off on when he says, or take the effects off when he says stop.
Yeah. It's interesting hearing them solo, that like you can hear he adds a little more like grit than I realize at a first listen, because it blends in with like the distorted guitars and all that. But,
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's neat to hear the stuff by itself.
Yeah, and it's tough for us to like balance that sometimes, because when we're going all day and he's pushing really hard, like obviously from his perspective, the vocal is hitting like super heavy all the time, basically. But from my point of view, when I'm mixing it in, like it's still, like you said, like sometimes it doesn't translate as well to just the listener. So you almost have to like, like in theater, like performing for the back row, I guess, just amp it up that much more so that it cuts through. But yeah, like it was tough, but like super rewarding to get like some of those like really intense.
Wrong to hide away,
which are very subtly doubled. Which are like similar, but like kind of different tones. And then we, of course, just upvote the main one. Like so much compression, just like pushing into each transition of note. But yeah, I love that stuff. And then our like kind of call and response stuff. I feel like melodies like this were swimming around in our arrangement or whatever, but then when we had like, the lyric hideaway, we just like follow it with the exact lyric, and then the background's call and response stuff kind of writes itself. But I would say stuff like that in the context of a larger mix. So if I play this for a half a second with the previous line. Oop, coming. That'll be harder to like deal with or showcase in a live setting, I think. So we'll probably just like avoid some of that stuff. It's actually interesting how heavy that was sounding without distorted guitars, because guitars eat everything, and I'm doing my best to try and balance like good rock stuff with good guitar tone, but like have everything be audible. So let's actually hear a little bit of that without guitar, and then I'll bring it in. Actually mute the vocal here. And then we get super heavy, but I always dug how we were able to get like this kind of orchestral giant band sound without like 40-piece orchestra or like an insane amount of layering. So we have our guitar group here. See lots of volume automation going on from like section to section here to make that work. But some typical aviation stuff here. Chords layered under, octaves and chugs underneath. So keeping like the vibe, and we'll figure out how to like split those parts up in a live performance way for what will actually translate. But on a record when we can be this detailed. It just adds that extra oomph to get like a stuff like that underneath.
A separate track of it, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was stealing that mostly from Nolly's announcement video for that Neural DSP plugin, because he did a bunch of cool guitar layering stuff with just like giant chords, like spreading chords across different guitars instead of doing it all in one. But yeah, that run with all the strings here just sounds really, really awesome. Oops, sorry. There we go.
Nothing like parallel fists. Brom, brom, brom.
Brom, brom, brom. That's the one.
It's very what's the term I'd be looking for?
You just need just a little bit of that too. It looks like we got some of this too. Everyone's joining in on that. Yeah.
Everyone play fifths, go.
And then of course bonk. just to tighten that up. Yeah, everybody gets one of those too. Ensemble figures we call them, I guess. But also, like, because I'll be blowing past this a lot, Werner's just like going in on a lot of this stuff with how fast it is. Metal. And then the song gets fun. So basically everything we've listened to up thus far, this is what, two-ish minutes into the track. This was the everything following was from the like original arrangement for the most part of the song. And prior was some other track that we'll dig up someday and see like what we were thinking originally. But it's just cool that all the themes at the end of the song made it their way to the beginning so that it can feel like a full circle, well-arranged piece of music.
We did it, y'all.
We did it. We figured it out.
We did it.
Never have to do it again. And now just as we get into the crazy part, I think it's cool to just hear the vibe without vocals, and then we'll bring in what insane intense stuff we have vocal arrangement wise. So we start off by giving Richard a break from the 20 minutes of 1 million notes that he's been playing.
It's like we've established our orchestral opening, but now it's like, okay, here's the rock show, here's the core band.
Here's the core band. Is it the band core? Which I think is cool because I get you get to come in as like a verse, like a vocalist, honestly, like that section here. I'll call it out again, or I'll speak more to that in a second. I forget guitar, bass, and drums can sound this good though. Now I can't not hear that flourish. You do on the cover? Yeah, you got to do that every time now. I'm sure there's some other subtle like layering and stuff going on here. Yeah, we got a couple little bell reinforcement things. But that's really it. And that's what gets me excited about, sections like this. We get to do our orchestral, or at least I get to, do my music thing in the first section, and then like that's just, you know, 5 guys, burgers and fries, and then Adam, so 6. But without all the vocals, like it's still sounding that full and like ready for the rock show. It's pretty cool. I feel like we always need a million layers all the time, but
okay, quick before we add back in vocals, can you show that one bass fill right before the piano comes back in?
Oh yeah, the line.
Yeah,
let's do it on bass.
yeah.
I also like it's subtle, but with these kinds of like rolling eighth bass lines, Werner and I were consciously trying to, knowing that I would be mixing it like this, where we have this kind of like cleaner thing blended in with distortion that helps it kind of sit above the mix a little bit more and be in rhythm with like the drums and all that stuff. Like instead of constant eighths da 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 all the time, we'll break it up sometimes, like coming out of these runs with something like this. Back to eighths and then straight. So stuff changes, but yeah, all these little interjections. Oh wait, no, it's the one.
And have Warner getting bored.
Yeah, right here, was it? Oh no, it was at the beginning. Sorry. Yeah, just trying to pick all of those out is like it's tough. Oop, come on. And then you're fighting for vocal attention as well. But yeah, this will, like, I can tell this will come together cool in a live recording context. It would be really awesome to do this not only live, but with like some orchestral instruments as well. So when those textures come in and out for like the choruses and whatnot, that'd be really, really sick. But yeah, as we do, how does this, what's going on in vocal land with this section?
A hunger that keeps me always moving. When everything's primal, no longer a pure-blooded heart, and I can't find the button to restart. Distractions are grinding away at life, inherently rotting unpracticed minds.
That's cool. Like how we do like a lot of like the empty like fifth, fourth harmonies, whatever those are. Instead of just the always the happy things, we're just kind of in that droning. What is this, C or something? I forget what my guitar is tuned to.
Yes, it's just C's.
Just C, a sea of C's.
Just C.
But yeah, this was really cool because I remember coming up with a handful of ideas like what this section should be, and then Adam's initial demo had the concept of just like coming in hard with the background vocals. And so I could like see that live maybe as like a handful of us covering some of those, maybe augmented with some tracks and effects or whatever, and lets Adam come in even stronger because I don't know. Sometimes you can always come down like right on the downbeat if you're feeling it. But also you'll see like we do some subtle stuff that no one really notices, but when we have 2 takes on different tracks that kind of overlap a bit, you get a different vibe than just like making sure it all sounds like one performance. There we go. Where are you going? Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. There we go.
Primal, no longer a pure-blooded heart, and I can't find the button to restart.
Just lots of good layering and stuff here too. Let's get all the way up to the chorus actually.
Let's live to die the victor. Prove you have the taste for mania. Captive in design with no way out.
That was one of my favorite background cadence things. I think like, I'm trying to remember when that happened, but I feel like it was a conversation between you and I when we were arranging piano stuff. That might have just been like a straight like 5-1 or 4-1 or something kind of like boring and less like dominant. Like that.
Thanks. So
That's good,
that's not
champion.
distracting at all.
I gotta work on these layers, these alerts. But yeah, no, I very much remember talking to you about like that section in particular, and now you're able to do that like flourishy thing over top, which is also sick. And what's cool is, like arrangement wise, because the song is much more of a vibe now from that adventure metal section onward, once we got the arrangement down, but separating this as like a chorus section, even though the instrumentation is largely the same, and finding a way to just like elevate it sonically without doing anything, bringing in like 50 other instruments or something like that to break it up. That bit of like harmonic departure, I think, like really helps elevate it. And again, in context for anyone who doesn't remember. I just think, yeah, like really makes that sad resolution hit a lot harder. Especially as the second half of that chorus is kind of vibey.
It's rare to hear, like, especially in our music, like a straight ahead authentic cadence, you know, because it is just like G, C is literally just like a 5-1, but it's like very clearly defined, which we normally try and avoid because it's almost like too simplistic. But this just like helps like arrive at the chorus. Like, here's the 3.5 minutes that you've been waiting, and then, you know, it's worth it once in a while. So
yeah, we definitely could stand to do that more often. It's something whenever we get into writing that I've envied from your music, that I take for, the Blumen side of things, being like more piano focused. Like, I feel like you're able to pull more colors out because you're less distracted by the confines of a guitar. And I try to like, it does feel like I stunt my color palette a bit when I'm just looking at the like the next closest fret to go to, rather than what would like be the strongest color. Or if like without a nice arrangement like this, listening to a cadence like that might sound like, you know, like corny on its own, but
yeah, a little too on the nose. Agreed.
But this is dope. Like now I just like with before when talking about vocals, if like, oh, we're trying out this part but it's not quite in tune, maybe that's not why I like it, or the rhythm's not super tight, or maybe that guitar tone isn't working. Like I can give more things a chance and be like, okay, if nothing else is working, why don't I go back to the corny cadence? Oh, that's actually the exact spice I need. I remember doing that at in a Berkeley class as well. We had to like force a couple of like secondary dominant and like subdominant motion things into like a piano piece that we were writing. And at first I was like, I don't know, it's whatever, like, because I was trying to make it something that it wasn't. And then I just added what like the assignment required of it, and it sounded like 10 times better, like right out of the gate, because it was so much more colorful. And I was like, oh well, now I just know that works. Okay, so I'll stop pretending I know everything. But speaking of like chords and cadences and all this stuff, like this chorus has so many vocal colors and stuff going on through to the end. So let's hear
actually,
about...
I was thinking, I know that we've been going pretty sequentially, but like, since there are 3 choruses and they have a lot of similarities, what if like we sort of combine this for the sake of time, just like look at the choruses, because I know you did some different vocal things.
No, that's
and there's
smart.
A couple like tiny little note changes, but be like, hey, look.
And there's a pretty obvious like harmonic change actually, which will help people following along. So here, let's get the transition into this first one.
With no way out. trying to find forgiveness. Dying to live this moment, holding without ego. But I'm out of breath now, when I'm not even sure of the debris. Tragically we fall.
There's like some synthetic low octave stuff there.
Tragically we fall.
Just queenifying everything. But yeah, I do like how the first chorus is like it's kind of a half chorus just because the other one is longer. But we go through like the pretty side of the arrangement that sounds less doom and gloom. And then the second one, you'll notice right away, it goes from, instead of saying in that C minor, it goes to like a B flat major, I think. It's like a step down to break it up.
Flat 7.
Yeah,
Love to tonicize that. Go nuts.
and that was my addition. I forget like why. It was probably just my musical ADD being like, oh, let's try something different here. But
trying to find forgiveness, dying to live this moment, holding without ego. Trying to find forgiveness.
That's spicy.
Dying to leave these old and broken ways we used to.
Again, instrumentally. Yeah, piano just taking us through it. And actually that little transition out is one fun thing in guitar land.
Ooh.
Taking me into some guitar that I recorded like the day before we shot the music video. But yeah, that's the DNA of these choruses too, is that backing melody. If like, I know there's like the layers of just like harmony, but the backgrounds, come on. Oh, no. Oh, I muted them here. The like 4-note melody showing up both times, but then also following that B flat change. With lots of cool like spacey effects. Oh, it's got like kind of a dun, 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 dun. It's like that rhythm, but like using modulated delays. And of course my like one lead part in this, well, other than the solo, on this album. Just shred. Yeah, but like as you can see, it's kind of like spaced out. We're looking at when I'm zooming out here again, a 10-minute song. So there's not like a ton of crazy guitar layering here. Just we got some choruses and then some wonky stuff in the breakdown, and then more things towards the very end of the song because we have that like building layer. But to fill in the gaps between these choruses, let's take a quick look at the heavy stuff. So the first like transition into like heavy world is this. Which, if you notice, we're doing some like scratchy harmonic stuff on the like muted on the guitars there, which were probably written in some way to get that sound in Guitar Pro. It's like, oh, like scratch the guitar and or mute it so you get this like kind of intense sound. And I want to say that it was written in the piano as well, or like pasted into the piano, but maybe I was correct if I'm wrong, if that was like your idea to add in like accenting those harmonics on the piano instead through this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just because, like, since I can't really play just, dead notes or percussive things, like, I don't know if it was listening to a guitar demo or to the actual guitar profile that I was like, okay, but, like, yes, you're making scratchy harmonic noises, but what are those actual pitches?
Yeah.
And, like, that's my approximation of what I thought you were playing.
And it works so well.
Real pitches.
And I'm, like, just realizing now that's sort of a precursor, that, like, sound to what you do in your actual solo. Which we'll jump to in just a sec, but I wanted to like look at this transition because so much is happening to make this transition into this new feel as big as possible outside of just the band. So So in order to do an Aviations, we first have a bass slide. And a bunch of disgusting stuff going on, which, by the way, orange over here is bassland. This is all the different like EQs and low end adjustment and various distortions and blendings of those distortions from like section to section to make the bass like sit the way I wanted it to in each one. And it's just nonsense because one size does not fit all in this music. I'll see if I can find like an easier way to do something like this next time, but at any rate, getting this transition to sound sick, James, of course, being the main composer by this, is playing with time to get us from this like, triplet 3 kind of feel or 12/8 thing to a straight 4. And amidst that, I have a bunch of like cool sound design stuff happening. I want to say in this, let's see. Yeah, leading under the drums here.
Oh shit.
So we have this like shaker that's almost like this like ticking time bomb kind of like sound, but you also see my little break drum secret, which is gotta hit him with the double sub drop. That's also the Aviations thing that I stole from that contortionist song Vessel, I think it is, from Exoplanet. They right on the what is it, the like the breakdown in that song, like we will be remembered by our deeds or whatever it is. He like puts the bass drop on the like 3 after. So 1, 2, 3 instead of just like hitting it all on the downbeat, which is just super metal. And of course with the drums, it's like makes it sound insane.
It's a bass drop backbeat.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just put it on every single one.
Just put on 3.
And then, of course, everything gets heavy with when Werner turns on the Nolly bass pickup configuration. We had a separate setup for the whole rest of the album, and then we switched it for this section.
Make that thing wall go nolly nolly.
Go nolly nolly. It sounds like this. And just super metal. And yeah, I'm stoked with how like these palm mutes came out too. I like how like safe that sounds, and then over top we introduce the chaos. Let's hear it isolated because people should be familiar with how it sounds. And I'm sure you noticed some of my like automation there over like some of the sustained parts, but just to even things out when it's pulling over, and a bunch of subtle stuff happening here to like bring up the spook factor. We have what is this called? Guitar layers. Where am I? And strings.
Oh yeah, I did this.
Just so, and like we can actually see this is like what, like 3 or 4 parts are on violin, another violin, viola, and
like
that's it.
The fretboard and tremolo and call it a day.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. Mixed with my weird. This is like just film score tension stuff underneath, which is funny how like spooky all those sound, and then still underneath all of that we have as Richard goes into Chaos Town. And yeah, I love seeing people's reaction to it in the reaction videos too. And when the piano comes in, they're like, "Oh, it's jazz piano." He played some notes that are not in the key.
Well, it's funny because like sort of going back to like those open fists that were at the beginning. Is like, and since we're just sort of chugging on C, like I tried to keep the first half of it like kind of not folky, but what's the word, like unrefined, dum ba ba bum, like drop down a fifth, da 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 dum, like just sort of like really basic mode without like actually doing anything fancy. So it just like kind of feels rough around the edges.
It's weird. Yeah, it was weird how it sounds like floaty, but it also sounds like, oh, the king has just entered.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What do you require? Like,
I want to be like, kind of throwback. So.
And then it's like, oh, what the fuck?
Oh. Yeah.
The king wants us to kill everybody.
Well, I think in one of the guitar demos at one point, maybe just in Guitar Pro, that was like part of the guitar line right there. That was originally supposed to be like almost unison. And then we ended up with different parts. But anyway. Yeah, so it's like a feedback loop sense, where I'm writing something, but I was inspired by what y'all had before, and then that's not there anymore, but mine still is.
Yeah, because I think probably what I had here stayed pretty safe and just like ascended up the scale or whatever. But yeah, I do like a little bit of was that C sharp?
That triplet was cool. Da-da-da-da. I've never heard that before. Yeah.
And it's just tough because even like moments like that, we spend a lot of time trying to voice everything properly, and in this level of distortion, like in a live context especially, you'll never pick up on that. But
like we want the F and the G to ring out stronger than the A flat and the C.
But no one's
gonna know color tone and fundamental. Yeah.
I think Warner's doubling on that. I wasn't sure if he hit a chord there because Werner does like doing the chords.
Yeah. No, he's just gonna play it the cleanest out of anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh god. It's just so insane. Um,
I hate to pause you, but we do need to point out that someone made very good onomatopoeia of this riff, and it
oh
is
yeah,
takatoon, takoon, tudun, takoon. So,
that's incredible.
big fan.
Big
Yeah.
fan. Keep it up. We're gonna we'll have that version. We'll call it like live from the van or something, which is like
It's like, yeah, like in the light years when we all had different rhythmic syllables for the quest riff.
yeah. It's like okay, and 1, 2, 3, everybody at the same time. Yeah. Well, Adam has one of those somewhere. He's like, yeah, the riff that goes like this.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Chat's also reminding you to drink water because they've seen me drink water, but not you. So
Let's see. I do have a little bit left in the spirit of a company that still does exist.
Thank you.
Hydrate. Cool. And this was just to get us to the second half of the song. By God, this section. Oh, sorry. I thought I had the layers figured out, but yeah, we have just a bunch of guitar layers. So we have a main. Hold down the vibe, and then we have a low note. Your animals as leaders. And then our spooky layers. That end up just adding more spook to these like transitions. So like, oh, come on. And that's like my favorite thing too. Like people who are vibing on this section after like that crazy piano solo, get this just straight vibe. Ghost notes coming through. And then it just picks up and just keeps fucking going. And so like right up until there, it's almost like the like live music version of that EDM build up where like you just go and then drops or whatever. So we're just like,
that's a good point.
Pick it up now. And yeah, I forgot how like dirty that bass stuff sounds in the section. Cranking up on the Saturn, which again I have like distortions. Actually everything's frozen, so I can't change it, but from section to section, changing up the vibe. And probably don't want to skip over this because I bet people want to hear what the weirdness is. We have vocal effects. This one was in my brain bank for a while of like, I'm definitely going to have some sort of filtered effect here. It just took a long time to settle on one. And I think this one worked out.
No longer a pure-blooded heart, and I can't find a button to restart, to play till the end or fade away.
I love that section because I mean we have the main vocal effect has that cool like octave-y thing going on, and because it's all filtered, when we double time it up and the vocals come in unfiltered, like everything just like feels so like refreshed now that you've been listening to the song for so long, and it's like, oh, Adam sounds fucking awesome. And like this is like the most Journey we've ever gone with like vocal harmonies too. Just that like
No longer a pure-blooded heart, and I can't find a button to restart.
just oh my gosh, I feel like that was just another like wrote itself kind of thing. We throw a lot of harmonies at basically everything, but I'm as we're going trying to show some restraint and not just like put 50,000 harmonies on every single word just because, and like really punctuate certain notes. And
Not trying to do the blind guardian approach.
yeah.
You ever listen to that band?
No, who are they?
Oh my gosh, they're the most hilarious power metal band of all time.
Oh, I was gonna say power metal. Okay, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get learnt, everybody. Uncle Richard's got you covered. And yeah, you see, I got like vocal effects automated all over the place. So yeah, just crazy stuff happening all over yonder. And yeah, again, in as far as layers go, like really the choruses were the only ones that had a lot of augmentation for them, like stuff like this. Or Blade Runner piano. Leading us into our real roads.
That's right.
Which is cool because if I remember right, piano and Rhodes being like the bed underneath the brighter, more spastic acoustic stuff. Well, no, piano's still going in. Yeah. So in this instant, Richard's going in on the piano side, and then Rhodes is kind of just comping underneath. And then I think piano relaxes.
Yeah, I switched to chorus.
Switch.
Because the guitars are...
We move this texture to the Rhodes. So it's kind of cool. We're always able to keep that going. And then, of course, stuff switches to the guitars. But real quick, just because I think it's silly, vocals are tough to arrange for songs like these because when they're so long, sometimes we're not sure like which sections need to just like breathe for forever or if we need to fill every single section. Maybe someday I'll put out a demo version of the fact that I like this whole section. I had like a vocal arrangement going over the whole thing of just like oohs and woes and stuff, very a la Deer Hunter.
Okay.
But I even forget sometimes, just arrangement wise, I'm like, oh, this is like a nice thing that has like some quirky harmony and transitions and stuff going on. And it's like, but like, I forget that musically it actually is, so we had our first chorus, right? And coming out of it.
Dying to live this moment, on and without equal.
So like this, that's literally.
We just harmonize underneath it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that was like such a cool arrangement choice, like to continue a section, but just instead of writing a new section to get you to that dynamic, just like replace that section entirely with the new dynamic. And then you're already there. So you don't have to write another part. Look at us being conservative.
Yeah.
In our 10-minute songs.
Trying not to write more parts. Yeah.
I love it. And then, yeah, so sorry, my theme or the point I was getting to is that we didn't end up adding vocals here, but that was before I put a acoustic accompaniment. So it was just kind of like this. Which for any other band is like totally fine and full enough, but we were like, oh, like what? There's got to be. This is the chill section for us to write some cool melodies, right? What's gonna happen vocally? And we just never got around to, and we couldn't find something that would work for both repetitions of this because we knew we wanted to change the vibe after. So getting this like kind of off the cuff, up the middle guitar, just like vibing along with the chords. I think I worked this out, like I said, like a day or two before we filmed for the music video, so that I could have, you know, the right stuff on camera. And that was a lot of fun, actually. Because
how many guitar layers is that?
That's one.
That's one?
Yeah.
You played that?
Yeah.
That's some Nathan Gass stuff right there. That's twisty. Nice job.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good most of the time.
Yeah.
But some sections like this, it's really just kind of like Travis picking style, like finger style guitar with chords, and those, because the way this harmony is written out, or was in Guitar Pro, is actually very guitaristic, because it's like kind of constant structure, whole tone stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I still want to see you play it.
Yeah, no, of course, me too. Yeah. Well, there is a music video. I'm doing it somewhat accurately.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, for like, I'm so like halfway between the music nerd knowledge of actually knowing what the heck I'm talking about, and folks at home who have no idea what I'm talking about. But what I mean by the constant structure stuff on guitar is that like these are shapes or chord shapes essentially that I can just shift like a couple of frets down at a time, and just it keeps that same chord quality. I don't have to like worry about changing it, so I can focus more on the like one or two notes, or like one or two fingers that have to change, and I'm just like picking a different pattern without having to like do entirely different chords and all over the neck all over the time. But like you'll notice, like I'm kind of making it sound like a lot, like in the way that a drummer makes a drum fill sound really intense a lot, by adding a lot of notes before and after each other, not like all at once. Like, and sometimes I'm just doing like single note little runs, and other times I'm doing like bass notes at the same time. So there's a little bit of chordal stuff and picking, a little bit of bass note stuff. But I think this one, for example, that's just the high register, because I probably, from where it was on the neck, like in my guitar that doesn't have a cutaway, I can't like reach bass notes. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna make it sound worse by just adding noise, and then breaking it up with just chords. To like get myself enough mental energy back so I can prepare to do like a fully picked one afterwards. So just like sleight of hand tricks to make me sound like I'm better at guitar, and to have it sound a little more through composed and cool before leading into the main guitar layer of the rest of the section, which sounds really, really nice with clean electric.
I want to point out.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to point out. So this section has a lot of chords.
Yes.
And I want to call attention to some good James shit here.
This is good James shit.
When my brother first heard this song, he texted me and he was like, "Oh, that bridge, it's so blooming, all those chords." And I was like, dude, like that was James. You know, like I think we like rearranged maybe the order of some of like the pairs of 2 bars or 4 bars, but like,
and you spiced up some of
the yeah. But like the core of that was just, James was just on one that day and was like, I'm going to write a cool bridge with cool chords. And then he did.
And that's what I'm telling you. Like, this is, I'm like pretty sure he would tell you too, that it's another example of Guitar Pro transposing. Mm-hmm. So like, think of this, and then think of the, I guess it's the bridge section, clean section in Quest. And how like it's like those 4 chords or something like that, and then it's the same thing but like just up a fourth or something like that. Yeah. So you have those 2, and then copied. Whoop, sorry, solo. Those 2 are just like translated down, but like you've arranged a melody that goes through it, so it like masks it. And then I just like the like descendingness of that progression, that whole tone kind of like root motion, landing on those two different chords. So this one,
Yeah.
versus, I feel like those two make like the most color change, and then you just like lean into it in the last bar, so that resolution that like has more of like a stepwise kind of feel, because it's like not quite there, so you get that kind of outside thing. But yeah, that's just, I just love how this whole thing came together. Like basically everything you're saying is it's out there, but it's so satisfying and warm at the same time. Which we'll get hopefully. I think the rest of this, like, these are long sections that you get them after a few bars. So as far as like the layers go, so we should be doing pretty good. But in Guitar Land, this is just once again the textures I love. Yeah. Yeah, just something subtle like there, like how the acoustic is doing the thing. But the electric is just hitting the straight jazz, and just like as I want to just go as dense following my ear as possible to make it just sound as sad and like melty as possible. I think what's funny, because I reference like Zelda music in every single one of these. In Majora's Mask, the Land of Termina, each of the
go in Zelda, you guys.
That's incredible.
And now, time for our moment of Zelda.
I need a that's real James shit button and like a moment of Zelda.
Yeah.
Like we need like, oh god. But each of the 4 worlds that are like there have a theme, but they're all the same theme, just like reorchestrated to be like an island thing, or like a woodland thing, or like a mountainy thing, and it's all whole tone music. So like this very much descending into this next section, I wanted to like lean into that sound, so that when it just ends into the droning thing, it feels like we've arrived somewhere and are now going. But that's by the vocal melody follows that as well, which there's not a ton going on, but it took us a while to land on just like what small little harmonies we want to do, and there might even be one that you guys didn't notice where like it like kind of adjusts, and I like when harmonies move instead of just being static to the melody.
Never-ending twists that misguide me. I'll lead you to guess we failed to deliver. What's done is done, we move.
Spooky octave layer there. But yeah, it's interesting how like much like there's like not a lot of information in this vocal section, obviously because it's just stripped back, but like as soon as you bring in a piano,
I'll lead you to guess.
it all makes sense. Which finally leads us actually here, what else did I skip? We'll give James and Werner a little bit of a even just like that little squeak on the bass slide, just all that naturalness sounding so sick.
Yeah.
It's such a cool room too. And I'm gonna be dumb and play some drums for a minute because we like drums, but this is like one of my favorite James drum fills, and it's not even like a fill really. No samples, by the way. This is a drum kit. We don't fuck around, kids. this little thing right here. Just goes up the toms, and I love it. And that too. Just cranking the room, so by the time he gets halfway through that roll, it sounds like more.
That's like the most. That's like so restrained for James,
right?
Never in my life would I think that I would hear James just play straight eighths on a snare as a build, And
it works.
It's perfect.
You just have to say, hey, so there's going to be 8,000 other things happening. So before I get to the last couple bars, let's just tore you through what you've probably been perceiving in this cloud of spook, I guess, in this section here. So we have our post-human guys kind of blended with this orchestra layer. And then Richard comes to the party. With some cello.
Hello.
And that gets more and more intense dynamic, which is great. And so that's sort of our like ambient layers, and then, the aviations thing of bells kind of blending more with the Rhodes situation. Still doubling that ostinato, but in this key. Transitioning to the next one, and then I guess we add a bit more sharpness with like some vibes. More belly and stuff like that. And get to the end here. So yeah, it's more about just keeping that motif going, and you could hear a little bit of that vocal melody that I wanted to make sure was highlighted from the previous part, first vocal entrance in the song, yeah, that in addition to we got some acoustic stuff, which I think if you watch the music video, it's highlighted pretty well. Mostly just clean guitar holding it down while James does his thing. Super not interesting. And then the acoustic comes in.
That's the Dave Maximich wobbly guitars there.
Yeah, just that, and also the super tiny dynamic thing at the end, which always psyched people out when they're watching the video. They're like, "Wait, I thought this was about to be loud," and then it is.
And then it is.
But it's funny to me how like layered you can make all this stuff. Like, and then this melody really is just not like, it's doubling the vocal, but it's so buried that it's almost going to be more important for like, say Eric to just take a rhythm part and for me to take a, like one of these like arpeggios here. Kind of the Pliny style. Harmonized rhythm guitar simply, and then Piano Town is awesome and restrained as well. But when he gets into that build here at the very end, by itself, I really like it. And it's subtle, but I like how like as we get closer and closer to the end, we bring back that like that this like we're hinting at the fact that we're about to get back into our adventure metal phase. It wasn't a phase, Mom.
All right, let's talk about your solo, and then some blast beats, and then
Yeah, should be pretty good.
go eat dinner.
Let's see. This drop whenever we do it
I got
live.
Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead. Sorry.
like I don't know. Whenever I listen to it, I feel like sometimes it comes in right away, and other times it feels like there's an eternity between this like drop. Here, real quick.
Yeah,
sorry.
live. We're gonna need to wait about 10 more seconds before that.
Just to make sure we're all coming in. I'll play the whole guitar all the way up to that note.
Yeah.
All right, we got our move-ons.
Out of reach, in a trance that I've come to love only to find. Moving on without you.
It's a pretty loud me in there, and then
What's it worth to stop, then to let it flow? Holding on to choices made, maybe we'll die here either way.
yeah, we just wanted to set off that guitar solo into space. Which the other thing I don't think anyone noticed, I think I was doing it in the video, but to get to the solo.
That was a terrible clash. Good joke. Thank you for the cheer, but these could not be at two different keys.
I thought that was interesting to showcase that the guitar is still doubling that melody, but just totally dry because there's so much happening. Might as well not muck it up with a million other things. But I don't know if anyone picked up on this dumb little thing right on the downbeat. Just more buzz theming. Obligatory at this point.
We could have put the do do dee dee.
Yeah, might as well.
Do do dee doo. Just
And that was like a middle of the night thing while I was finalizing the layered stuff. But because Richard had some cool friends record on this as well, that melody had a bit of this going. Double with synth. I just I love those like transitions into open sections afterwards. You can really hear the dynamic cool down. And again, the harpsichord coming back. With the delay, just keeping that vibe going. And I gotta remember, like, we transcribed all these chords, but... just figuring out how to translate stuff that isn't on a 7-string to make any of this work. And then, of course, my rhythm guitar is just taking everything for the world.
I forget. Neither you nor Eric has a 7-string acoustic, right?
No, and I can't find one that's like good. I also need a 7-string Telecaster to play math rock. If anyone can find one for me, that would be incredible. But at any rate, you know, drums sound amazing. Still, through the rest of the song, I'll play them again at the very, very end of the section. But
just blast.
Let's
give the people what they came for.
Give the people what they came for. Which fucking section? So we already did our filtered effects for this transition, and it's par for the course. But this is probably the most fun we had in the studio.
You did it again! Sorry, back it up. I want to hear that fill again, right now.
Sorry.
I want to hear that fill again.
Yeah. So this was the one that he was like most excited about.
Yeah.
Because he'll I feel like a good James fill has like, you know, your everywhere across the kit orchestration thing, but he always does a stupid cymbal thing that just like makes his whole world.
Gotta hit his little tiny little splashes. Yeah.
So like this is his version of like this reminds me of like the fill at the end of Dizziness, where he does that insane like run around the kit and then does like a little tiny little ride thing right before it drops. And the gravity blast. And yeah, the little stuff there on the downbeat, but so that's definitely not a gravity blast. It's just a blast. But like these are it's like good. I'm automating a bunch of stuff and like cleaning things to get the clearest sound. But like this section just like worked. like there wasn't a ton I had to. I didn't have to like manufacture or edit any of this. Like, and you can tell like. Like you might like abandon like half a note at the end, like dynamic wise for a bit, but like that's a fucking robot. Like what the fuck? And I bet if I went in and like made it all exactly right, then it would just sound like GGD, which is weird. So why bother? Oh my gosh. And then
James says, "Wow, that's too many fucking notes." Nah, dude.
I think just like in addition to like the blast beat being so tight, which is like what will help like this translate live, for example, it's just like the drums had to be, and like the snare especially had to be like loud enough for it to translate immediately. Like that was one of my biggest fears when we did a section as big as this with all the stuff that I wanted it to be in there, that metal reactors watching this wouldn't like immediately pick up on the fact that it's like a blast beat. They would just think like, it's a lot of sound or whatever. But no, like I had to make sure the snare was like up front enough so that it was very clear that that was happening. And then, of course, vocals and piano and orchestration leading that melody, which is still audible. All that low cello is Richard. See, there's like a little bit of bell stuff in there, but it's mostly piano.
Nice, like messing around with all the octaves at the ending. Yeah.
Yep. Just big. And that was important to me to get that little like ring out too, but yeah, because it's like that melody. It's weird how this arrangement worked out. Like, this is the chorus. We should just be singing another chorus like normal, but it just didn't make sense after how like intense all this vocal stuff gets, which I wanted to play that on its own. Because we did some more theming, if anyone hasn't picked up on lyrical stuff yet. We got our woes. Me and Adam kind of doing our thing, and then
Sweating through the night, reliving the day. Not bold enough to take what's mine while idle hands drift further through. In this trance I love.
I still want to do like 80 more layers on that last note still, because it just sounds so good. But after all this song being pretty tightly tied to Pure thematically, we brought back the sweating through the night lyric, and instead like gave it a kind of duality. It's like sweating through the night, reliving the day. So like you have that, the pressure of everything that this song is about, while you're like, I'm sure most people have this thing where they say something stupid, or they like did a lot of stuff that day and they can't sleep because their mind is racing with everything they had to do. So that's kind of where that stuff comes from. And then we sing about it with like 5,000 voices that sound really awesome. That's a nice crunchy harmony there. And really quick, because I had to spend a lot of time on it, getting all this guitar stuff to work was crazy. Super low tuned things and like in tune, keeping stuff in tune. So we have like a single note layer, and then I think I layered up a lot of these with the chords. Come on. You got this.
Oh, so close. Okay.
It's like giving us the harmony with like a little bit of rhythm. Is this the one? Yeah. Onto the more heavy stuff, but yeah, it's like insane how all of this is able to fit. To get that acoustic texture in there, but without dunking it up with too much stuff. bringing back that melody in all its glory. Yeah, just an insanely large amount of layered stuff, and then the heaviness of just the whole end part here. The drums just sound stupid good. Definitely amped up some rooms or whatever on those last couple hits, but there's just like so many cool overtones on like last hit of the thing. You can tell James like was trying to break his snare on those last hits. And I think we went like full tilt again with bass world.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the bass has two modes. It's like clean, regular, distorted, I guess, and then just like blowtorch death with all the synth stuff.
I forgot about it because that low A flat is this song. Do y'all tune to low A flat the whole way through, or is this also one that has a change in tuning?
Werner probably doesn't. We do.
Yeah.
This will be drop A flat on a 7-string.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a lot. I think that's as low as it goes. I forget if one of these sections might have a note that goes lower, but we're gonna have to just like use a pitch shifter like I did for Pure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all totally doable. And then my obligatory last chord of a song, layer it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doubles. And this little acoustic thing that's very a la Pliny. Leading into that, and I don't think we're doing anything. Oh, we're doing one subtle thing with the vocals that I like, some of the octave stuff. That higher octave for that in the flow thing, which is like which is like a little altar boy vocal effects. I'll use it sometimes on Adam's like kind of mid-tone voice or whatever. We get this like different character for certain lines. I use it in La Jolla a bunch, and Pure and some
You didn't want to
spots.
hire a wife?
Next time.
Fine.
Next
time.
Next wife.
Nice.
Nice. Oh gosh. I don't think there's anything else great. Yeah, just our Blade Runner making appearances again. But yeah, and just the way you rounded out the piano in the end. I think I had some sort of like flourishy thing, like almost said Quest, like Blink at the very end, but instead, either in the sheet music or just on the day, you're able to figure out this slow down and final chord on your own.
Yeah. So if we want to talk chords again, similar to
Hit me.
earlier, we were saying like, oh, sort of the simplicity of having that G chord going to the C. Is that this, if the outro's in A flat major and then I play a D flat chord, it's the 4, which like implies like sort of like that plagal cadence thing. So it's like this is the closest thing in the back of my mind to being like, it's the amen cadence, just with no resolution. So
it's weird. Yeah, it's weird how it feels
we're not
open,
quite
but
done.
like resolved in its own way, in like a different way, because it's like finally so different from that one tone we've been at for so much of the song. Yeah, and I dig it, and I like how that opens up to the next song, which is, I don't think we did two songs in keys like half a step away from, or tunings half a step away from each other, at least on guitar, intentionally. But the way that it works is that this song being darker and within these like flat keys, like that works a lot better for that sound. And then the next one literally is up a bit more and brighter, both like vibe wise and like with its key. So that's just cool that worked out.
And I think like I remember when we were doing piano for the end of this song and the end of Blink, you were like pretty specific about what octaves you wanted the piano to shift into, more so on Blink, but like just the last couple measures, like, okay, it's going to go up and, you know, like keep playing the same melody, but just move it up an octave. And
right.
or because Blink, you like rewrote on the fly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know, like the intro section when we were trying to figure out, I wanted to like have each instrument be in its own range, and I think vocals were still being worked out for that, so I was just trying to get like some separation in there and to save my ass when the mix came around. But thankfully Bentley made that one work out. We'll talk more about that one next week. But yeah, I think we managed to cover this one. Which what's funny is like I feel like Pure being ending somewhere around here in length and this one continuing on, like just the sheer length of this song made this similar to Pure, but like it had so many more layers, and there's a good portion of stuff happening in this song, but like again, it's really just our typical Bell things, a little bit of Blade Runner-ness and these string arrangements that we were able to add, outside of, you know, yet another presence of harpsichord, which I think this is the only other song, unless I'm totally no, is there any in
this in
Blink?
Legend in Pure? None on Blink. No.
Okay. Yeah. So
the cool thing about the harpsichord on this one is that I remember, because for Legend, I'll finish one of my sentences. So this harpsichord, if you're still here, this harpsichord has two different sets of pickups built into it, and one of them like very much feels sort of like what comes into Madar or whatever, is it's very like what you associate as a harpsichord, like this Baroque instrument, sort of brittle, clangorous, and that's what I use for Legend, for that sort of neoclassical vibe. But then this one, I use the other set of pickups, which is like warmer and sort of, I think, fits really well with like video game music or, you know, Zelda-y things, and just fits the nostalgia thing, I think, better for our vibe. So I like it. I need to A/B them a little bit sometime to show that I'm not crazy.
Well, I remember like,
I promise.
Well, I remember for Legend, like tonally, I was trying to like EQ match, because it was like more of like a DI sound, the tone of a like classically set up harpsichord, like in a hall or a church where it would be found with that more like brittle kind of like bright sound. And I went for a bit more of a synthetic wide kind of layered thing here, more ethereal, I guess. But just cool, because then we're able to get like something that fulfills that like synth type role with, once again, using something like analog, which is kind of cool. For those of you who care at home. But yeah, that's the Coma. This song, I wish I knew like when the writing process actually started for this one. I'm like, I'm gonna go through the archives one of these days. Like Richard said, we'll bring up some like demos or something one time. That'll be fun. But I'm looking forward to having some music where I can remember like, okay, we started it in March and it came out in like whatever 4 months after that is or something, instead of like 4 years.
In 1992.
Back when you had two cats.
I remember this was a harsh winter.
Oh gosh. But all right.
Rations were thin. Sorry, continue.
Let's switch over to this guy. All right. We're free of the DAW, everybody. I'm looking at comments now because I've been slacking for sure. Mifraster says he's
Just
hearing some Dream
everybody's
Theater.
respecting you being in the zone.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm trying to like get through like 10 and I keep saying it's a 10-minute song. It's like pushing 11, isn't it? It's doing the outro theme. My gosh. Well,
Yeah.
you guys are amazing for those of you who stuck around this long. Appreciate you a lot. And for that, I'll just remind anyone who is new and had any interest in any of this, there's our Discord. And we'll be back next week. Same time, same place, doing stuff for the last song. Which
Same
is
song. Actually, we're just going to do Coma again.
exact same song. I'm still in a coma.
Nice.
And for everything else, there's merch. We'll have more to say on merch stuff tomorrow. It's wonderful as always to be here with you, Richard, as in this is the first time we've done this one together, but as always.
This is true. Yeah. As always, I'm pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And if Eric decides to not be around today, or if you want to poke around in the chat next week as well, I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of piano stuff, because that's some of my favorite piano work on the album, and that's the good song. So
That's the good song.
that's right.
People like Coma though. That's
True.
I think
Yeah.
that might be the crowd favorite.
I'm glad. I'm excited. I wanna play this one live. I feel like even though it's long as hell, it's one of the ones that will translate pretty well. Like all the loud bits for as much detail, I guess is what I'm saying, as is in this with like all the layering and stuff. I feel like the broad stroke stuff with like big piano and like focusing on like the octaves and stuff, it'll translate pretty well. It's got lots of big downbeats.
And we can get like some just like a minute and a half of strobe lights during the whole build up and the blast beats.
All the quiet sections is just strobe, and then like the lights are just house lights up for the choruses.
Yeah.
Just chaos. Oh my gosh. That'll be great. So see you at the show tomorrow. But yeah, merch update tomorrow. Oops All Coma is our next album, actually. Oops,
Song
Oops
2.
All Chords. It's song 2.
The Coma continues.
The Coma Continuum. Oh my gosh. And I get a guitar solo, so that'll be fun to do.
Yeah, actually, dude, I have like this crazy idea for like a prog album. What if it's like a guy who's like in a coma?
Like the whole time.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
But wait, how does it end?
Has that been done? Did
Does
I
he
just make the album of the summer?
thinks back to 2015?
Yeah.
Solid record. Oh my gosh. That definitely didn't cost like 30 grand a mix or whatever it was. Something like that. But anyway, friends, or actually I've been asking Eric what's the sign off. So you gotta give us what's your word of the day, or your sign off as a Richard news anchor.
Has he been using the same sign off each week?
Well,
Or a new
no,
one?
at the moment, the best one we have is be excellent to each other.
Okay, a classic.
And he said, if you know that reference, James will Venmo you $500.
Be
No one's
excellent
claimed
to
it
each
yet,
other?
though. So we'll see what happens.
Man,
We're just trying to
we
empty
got,
James.
we got younger
bank
fans
account.
than I realized.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Okay. All
How many
right.
songs are we
Well,
shooting to do live?
yeah.
All of them. Exactly. 3-hour sets of chaos.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we asked on Insta about what people's ideal set list would be, and it's like there's so many good things that people come up with, but they're all like an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know if you noticed that. People want a nice long set.
An evening with it'll happen. We'll make it intermission. We'll have like snacks available, side stage. Keep everybody. Some water.
Teddy Grahams.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinnamon or whatever version. Yeah. This is good. Let's keep this idea train going.
Okay.
But with that, take it sleazy.
We bid you a doo-doo.
I think that's good. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Okay. Bye.